That's Mark Tourtillott, and we'll see more of him in a little while. Good morning and welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. And now we're ready to start our official service. Once I get this guitar strap actually in the right place. Thank you, Joanne. All right. So please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing Mother Spirit. I am one with the whales and the dolphins in the sea. I am one with the clouds in the sky. I am one with the eagle in the highest tree. In the arms of the mother I abide. Let's do that again. I am one with the whales and the dolphins in the sea. I am one with the clouds in the sky. I am one with the eagle in the highest tree. In the arms of the mother I abide. Mother Spirit, Mother Earth, life that fills us, love that gives us birth. Mother Spirit, Mother Earth, life that fills us, love that gives us birth. I am one with the whales and the dolphins in the sea. I am one with the clouds in the sky. I am one with the eagle in the highest tree. In the arms of the mother I abide. One more time. I am one with the whales, the dolphins in the sea. I am one with the clouds in the sky. I am one with the eagle in the highest tree. In the arms of the mother I abide. In the arms of the mother I abide. Thank you.
Great start. Thank you, all of you. My name is Carl Jansen, and welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek on this beautiful sunny day after that rain, thank goodness. And I want to thank Lisa, Juliet, and Joanne, accompanied by Dave and Dusty. Thank you, and Mark Tourtillott. Thank you very much. That was just a great way to start the morning. Thanks, Mark. I invite you at this time to turn your cell phones to silence as we enjoy this sacred time together. Please join me by turning to the camera and waving hello to our friends at home. Your presence adds to our spiritual community, and we appreciate you. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. At Unity of Walnut Creek, our mission is, in loving community, we empower spiritual growth by modeling and teaching universal spiritual principles. I invite you to join me in affirming our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And if you are a newcomer with us for the first time, I invite you to raise your hand. There we go. Oh, people all over. Great. And our ushers have a welcome packet for you. And you may fill out the welcome card inside, the connection card inside, and bring it to our bookstore for an additional gift. And if you didn't raise your hand, but you'd like to get a packet, oh, there's some more over here. And you'd like to get a packet, you can come to our welcome table on the other side of the plaza and pick up that packet also. For everybody, there are connection cards available in the seat pockets in front of you. And with this card, you may submit a prayer request, and our prayer chaplains will pray with you throughout the week. You may also share feedback with us on these cards. If you request information, our staff will respond to you during office hours, and the ushers will receive the cards during the offering. So now at this time, take a moment to greet the people immediately around you. Thanks.
The greeting after the hugs and after one more song.
What about
Welcome
the
to be
poem?
sitting up here.
What about the poem?
Holiday giving at Unity of Walnut Creek includes teddy bear love. And as you see these teddy bears building up in our sanctuary throughout these next couple of weeks, fill them with all your love, and they'll be shared by children's hospitals throughout the year. Next Sunday is the last Sunday to drop off your bears. And congratulations, everyone. We have adopted all the needs of 2 full families. I think you saw out there, all the cards have been taken. Their gifts are streaming. Yeah, please. And that's fantastic. Just what I think about is when you're opening your gifts, and whether you took a gift card or not, you're all part of this whole thing. When you open your gifts on Christmas, you can think there's some other two families that we know for sure are opening the gifts that we got them, the little kids and the adults too. So, and if you still want to participate, I will be taking cash contributions or checks on the plaza after this service, and we're going to use those to buy gift cards at Safeway, so that people can have a beautiful meals around the holidays too. The holiday season can be a sacred time to remember a loved one who has made their transition. Honoring your loved ones with your spiritual family as witness is powerful and healing. Our remembrance service is this Thursday, November 29th at 7 o'clock. Reverend Sheila Gautreau will be here on Saturday, December 29th to facilitate the Power of Radical Forgiveness workshop. Yeah, those who took it may come back again. They have a little more forgiveness work to do, and those who haven't, I know it's a powerful experience. This workshop will help you enter the new year free of whatever may be holding you in bondage or unforgiveness. You can save $25 if you register at the bookstore by next Sunday. Take advantage of this early bird discount. Please check your bulletin and online for more detailed information for these and other events.
Loving these teddy bears. How about you? Yeah. So you know that man behind the piano. I don't know if you know that man behind the piano, but his name is Dave Holt. I want to invite Dave forward. Dave is a member of the Anishinaabe and Ojibwe tribes from northern Ontario. And he also is a part of a poetry society in the Bay Area called the Red Indian Road West Poets. And so he's going to begin our meditation time today with one of his originals, and he'll tell you a little bit about the art that goes with it.
So this painting behind me is the one my daughter made after hearing me tell this story. You'll see that the owl on the painting is holding a rosary. I'm not a very good Catholic, I guess. So she combined two stories, actually, in the painting. I had another story I would tell. We had a lady in Mitchell Canyon who used to leave rosaries in the trees for people to find. There'd be a little message attached to it. And I found one the day before my house bid was accepted that said, "Expect a miracle." I hike Miwok Canyon to take advantage of uphill treks in my walking regimen. Instead of turning back when I reach the overlook, I take time to sit, breathe in calm sunlight on a hill in pine woods before my drive to work. Today, surprise, an owl calls from the trees across Mystic Creek of sparkling stones. Too much midday for great horned owl to be awake. Most active at dusk and dawn, spend day hours at rest on inconspicuous roosts. The unseen owl calls several more times. I wonder, walking back to the car, how a full-blooded native of the woods would interpret this gukukou, talking so loquacious. On my end of the day drive home, sundown settles over the same ridge I cross every day. You could have knocked me down with a feather when owl took flight like an arrow shot across my bow, crossing my horizon directly at eye level. Evening shadows deepening, dusk, the ideal time to hunt. Second time in a day I meet you, gukukou. It's time to heed the voice calling to my spirit. I turn off my route home and drive back to Miwok Canyon and its stillness. Though part of me foresaw it, I am again amazed. Owl returns a third time, settles noiselessly on a wire right in front of me from out of nowhere. From his roost on the power line, he peruses the fields. At occasional disturbances, fluffs and puffs feathers out to enlarge himself his intentions, his thoughtful purpose. My inner voice assures me something holy is going on. What lesson does Owl have in mind? He tells me, use the darkness that falls. Find strength and sustenance and enough light to hunt by. I sense his instruction on how to navigate. You can see through it. Standing tall in darkness will make you stronger. No matter how obscure the path, there is light to find, a secure stone to make the small step that's needed, where to place foot forward, move without fear. Call on my spirit, said Owl, if your own eyes fail you. Choose humility when you face formidable powers of passage and change. Pray to your ally, saying, I cannot see or manifest light. Teach me how. It is then your guardian will move and guide. I begin to sing a prayer of gratitude softly at first. I finish each verse, but the bird of night, unruffled, is indifferent to my friendship song. Determined to sing another, I begin again more confidently. Owl ears must filter out human songs when they are more intent on picking out sounds of meadow mice, wood rats chewing on grass. Unperturbed, unimpressed, he pays me no mind, finally flying away down the field, skirting the feathered tops of oak grass at a low angle, floating across the road as I chant a psalm of renewal. Stand and face the dark, be humble with your gift of sight, and when eyes cannot see, pray for power. Owl spirit, show me the way.
So I invite you to remain in your heart with Owl, and with the spirit of our beings, the very presence of God that infiltrates the entire sanctuary, the sanctuary of your own heart. Perhaps you, like Dave, have an animal that has come to you to teach you, to show you the way. Maybe it's owl, or maybe another animal wishes to arise in your mind's eye right now. I invite you to allow that image to materialize. Right here in the center of your heart, where you breathe easily and effortlessly, there is this friend who has something to show you. Trusting that first image that comes. Taking a moment to really see this animal, this being who has come to show you something. Share a message of some kind with you today. Notice how you feel in the presence of this animal. The heartbeat is your heartbeat, and the heartbeat is the heartbeat of this other being. And the heartbeat is the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And now this totem, this animal, has come to take you on a journey. So if you wish to go, I invite you to follow the animal as he or she wishes to show you or to bring you a message. So dropping deeper into our beings with our animals as lead, we follow the journey. The presence of Spirit is with us, all around us, within us, that we are safe and open to receive any message or image that may be of use on our journey. So into the silence we go with our journey, or simply resting in the presence of God. In the quiet and stillness. having journeyed for a short or a long journey with an animal guide or simply with a conscious awareness of spirit within us. We find that beat of our heart once again, one with all beings. And if you connected with a power animal, I'll give you an opportunity to say thank you. As that image now dissolves in its own way. And our ever-present thanksgiving for the spirit that animates our being, that gives us all that we have. We are ever so grateful. All of our relations, for the oneness that permeates the earth. We are ever so grateful. If there are final wishes or words of thanksgiving that come to your heart and your mind, just allowing yourself to be with those. For life, for health, wholeness, connection, relationships, and love, for home and community, and work and service, and so much more. We say thank you to our Creator. And so it is. That was beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit about the drum, Mark? Oh, right here. That one works. This one works. Yeah, sorry. Oh, try again.
Hello?
There you go.
Didn't work the first service. So, for me, the drum in Native culture goes back a very long time. Before we had the wooden ring and the skin over the top of that, what we would do is we would dig out a pit in the ground, and then everybody, the guys that were drumming and singing, would pull an animal hide tight, and then they'd hit it with sticks, and that would be what we'd use for the drum, because it would reverberate down into the pit in the ground and come out. And years later, they figured out how to make wooden rings and put the skin around the wooden rings. But long before there were horses here, we had the drum, and so the drum has always been a part of Native culture, be it spiritually or in a celebratory way. And the song I just sang was Mother's Appreciation Song, being that we're giving thanks. So that song is a Kiowa song, but there's no words to it, but it was written in appreciation of the mothers. So, we have songs that are prayer songs, we have songs that are honoring songs, we have songs that are remembrance songs, we have songs for basically anything, because the drum is an essential part of who and what we are as Native people.
And tell us about the language. So what you were singing, is that a particular language?
No, what I was singing, this goes into, when powwows started, the Omaha people in Nebraska started having powwows. And what would happen is you'd have all these tribes come together, and they all speak different languages. And so that everybody could enjoy the songs that were being sung, they would start singing what's called vocables, which is what I was just singing. And they're not words per se, they're just sounds that we make. And that's where people think that we chant. Native people don't chant. But we sing in vocables so that people that don't know each other's languages can still enjoy the songs in the same way.
It seems like it comes from such a heart and soul place. When I hear it, it's almost better than hearing something in English. Anybody else experience that? There's just a depth of resonance with it. Yeah, you feel that, I imagine, as you sing.
I don't know, I just sing, it comes out.
It works.
We've all been given our gifts and whatnot, and I've been singing now for 25 years, and I feel that was one of my gifts I was given that I have to share. So I sing, and I enjoy singing. It's one of the things that, makes me who I am. I love to sing.
Well, it's our great blessing that we get to have you here today. I don't know if all of you know, Mark Tourtillott was our YOU sponsor for about 6.5 years here. Yeah, we sing the YOUers. I know you all are very glad to have him back this Sunday. And Mark has recently moved. In August, he moved to take care of his father in New Jersey, and or to be with his father, anyway. And so we're really glad to have you back this Sunday, and especially to share these very sacred teachings and music and your love and singing and drumming. And we're just glad to have you.
Thank you. No, it's good to be back. It feels weird to be back after being gone so long. It's so warm here right now. I'm like cooking right now because I'm so used to the cold already.
Yeah, right. You've adjusted quickly. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your lineage, your ancestral lines. Your father and your mother both have.
So my dad is full-blood Indian. My dad was born on the Menominee Indian Reservation in Wisconsin. My dad is Menominee, Ojibwe, and Ho-Chunk. And my mother was Chinook, Blackfoot, and Sicilian. My mother's side of the family does not acknowledge their native side because her dad was kind of not a very good guy, so they distanced themselves from that part of their family. So if you ask any of my family on that side, they all say they're Italian. My dad, however, was born and raised on the Menominee Indian Reservation, and it's my dad. I was, I think, fortunate enough to be raised I was never raised in a Western Christian environment. I was always raised in a traditional Native environment. And so the Native spirituality that I carry with me now is the Native spirituality that I was raised with from, a little kid. So I have probably a little bit of a different way of looking at the world or seeing the world than most people do. And, it's something that permeates in every day or every facet of my life. Just the way I see the world is different, and it's how I was raised.
Tell us a little bit about that. Like, what were some of the key teachings or the way of praying?
Yeah, the big thing, one of the big things is, we as Native people, and again, I'll preface this by saying, before European colonization, there were 500 separate nations in the continental United States alone. So what I'm telling you is just my point of view on it. You're going to find people that say different things, and none of us are wrong and none of us are right. It's just what's right for us. One of the big things is, the way we look at the Creator. In Western Christian, you say God, and that you believe you're made in the image of God. Well, as Native people, we think that's arrogant. Our word is, in my language, we say Kichimanitu, which means the great unknown, the great mystery, the great power. And Native people think that we're no better than dogs, cats, birds, bees, snakes, fish. We consider ourselves just part of the same circle of life. And so for us to think that we're elevated to be created in the image of the Creator is absolute arrogance to our way of thinking. So that was like the first big hang-up when we met the Europeans. It's the whole way you look at the Creator. And the other big thing that I was taught is I was taught, anyway, like I said, this is my own personal, that when we're born, the Creator gives us all the gifts we'll ever need to succeed in our life. So I was taught when we pray, we start off by saying, thank you. We never ask for anything for ourselves. I've never prayed for money. I've never prayed for a job. I've never prayed for anything other than to give thanks for the things I was given, or I would pray for other people. I would pray for other people's health. I would pray for other people to get help. So like in my language, there's another word we use. We say Mawakosano, which means the Creator, and we start off our prayers by saying Mawakosano Meakwawanan, and that's Creator, thank you for everything. And that's how we start our prayers as Menominee people. And so that's the way we pray. We never pray for ourselves unless we're giving thanks. We pray for other people.
And do you, is there anything with the directions or offerings that are part of your prayer practice? Or have they been in the past?
They can be. Again, you're going to find different things, but I was taught we believe in 7 sacred directions. There's north, south, east, and west. Those are all sacred directions because that's the different ways the winds blow. There's the above direction, there's the below direction, and then there's the direction that's within. And those are the 7 sacred directions for my people. And the 4 directions of the compass have colors, which are white, yellow, red, and black. And again, that changes from tribe to tribe because some of them have blue, some of them have green, some of them have them in different orientations. So it's, I can tell you what I know, but, that's where the directions come from. And generally, all of us start off by praying to the east because that's where the sun rises and that's where Natives believe life start is on the east.
Beautiful. So begin your prayers at sunrise and then end them at the end of the day at sunset?
Yep.
Sounds like a good rhythm, doesn't it?
But again, like I said, that's not, I was told that you don't have to be anywhere special to pray. As Natives, we believe that we're in church wherever we are, be it in our car, sitting in traffic, sitting in DMV, sitting out on the lawn. Anywhere that you feel like you need to pray is a good place to pray, and there's no specific time for you to pray either. We're not like the Muslims where they have the 5 times a day where they got to pray or anything like that. It's a very personal religion. There's no wrong way to do it. It's your relationship with the Creator is yours specifically, yours exclusively, and there's no wrong way to do it.
I like that you use the DMV, besides the fact that it made us all laugh. But it's also the indoor-outdoor idea. So,
right.
Nature is everywhere present, I guess. It would be, I mean, of course, we all feel a certain resonance when we're out in nature.
Right.
That's a little bit different.
I prefer to pray outside, but that doesn't mean that that's the only place I have to do it.
Yeah, beautiful. So how was it for you then when you got involved in Unity? I mean, was it easy to blend the paths, or was it kicking and screaming? Or, I know he met Kathy, and she's saying kicking and screaming. Kathy grew up in Unity, right?
Yeah. When I first met Kathy and Pat, I was close to 26 years ago now, and I was not the same man I am now. I was still a fairly angry young man. And they were like, oh, we're going to have kids, and they're going to go to church. And I'm like, no kid of mine is ever going to a Christian church. The things you say in ignorance, And then I think when the old building was here, I came a few times to the old building, and I went a few times when we were meeting over at Heather Farms, and then we came here, and I started coming with Kathy, and I was like, oh, these people look at things kind of a bit different, they see things a little weird. And at the time, Reverend David was talking about Winnie the Pooh, and I'm going, what the, But his messages, he was saying things, and I would look, and everybody would be like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And I'd lean over to Kathy and say, well, we look at it like this. And she looked at me like, you knew that already? I go, well, I knew that, but I knew it in this way. And she said something to me. One day we were sitting out on the patio talking. She goes, I think you guys are the only ones that never lost your instructions. I was like, I don't know about that. The way that we see the world is very simple, I think. And when you take all the superfluous things out of your life and you look at what's left and what's simple, it's easy to see the way that you should be, I think, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciated when we were talking earlier, you were saying, one of the things for you is just to be the best person you can be and do the best you can do with the gifts you've been given, which is we've been given everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I used to drive her crazy because I firmly believe that I can do anything I set my mind to. Give me enough time, I could learn how to be a brain surgeon. And I fully believe I have that ability because it's what I was given at birth. I took the path in life that I chose because I felt it was the right one for me, but I could have gone myriads of different ways, and I could have been just as successful as I am right now. Mm-hmm. And I believe that everyone has that. It's just nobody believes it anymore, but everybody has the same abilities.
Yeah. Well, and the path you have taken has been a lot of teaching younger people and,
right.
and really working with youth. Tell us a little bit about why that's important to you and what the context is.
Well, the context there is our culture, Native culture traditionally, I know this is going to surprise a lot of you, but Native culture traditionally, we were a very warlike warrior culture, and that's just what we were. A man's sole occupation, at least in our tribe, used to be fighting or hunting, and that was it. That's all a man practiced to do, was to fight or to hunt. And we don't have that kind of a culture anymore, so the role of a warrior has switched a little bit. We are still, per capita, the natives have the highest rate of enrollment in the military. It's 64% of all living natives are either veterans or active service, so that's still a big part of our culture. But we also look at the main role of a warrior now as a protector, and what's the best way we can protect ourselves? The best way to protect ourselves is to make sure the generation behind us has the tools and the skills they need to take over for us. Everyone in this room, you're going to be replaced if you haven't been replaced already. You're going to be replaced by someone younger. It's going to happen. And our thought is the best way for us to ensure the person that replaces us is to teach them everything we know. And so our role has kind of changed a little bit now to where it's very important for us to educate the generation behind us. And so I've actually been involved in youth education for almost 25 years now. Before I was with YOU, I was doing Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts, and before that, I worked at the Indian Education Program in Martinez that works for the school districts around here. And I would teach culture, I would teach drumming and singing, and I would be a tutor for the kids. One of the gentlemen that's actually on our drum group that we go to powwows with was one of my students.
Oh.
So it's very important for me and for us as a culture to pass on everything we can to the generation behind us, to lift them up, to make them stronger, because the stronger they are, the more they're going to hold us up when we get to the age where we can't do as much.
Yeah, beautiful. That idea of many, thinking about our impact for many generations, 7 generations often to come is really powerful. And you're doing the good work of directly working with youth. So thank you for that, for the work you've done here.
Thank you.
And out in the world. And you mentioned powwows. Tell us a little bit, because I know the drum features, and you and your brothers play the large drum and sing together at the powwows.
And what they are now is, I think, in my own opinion, I think they're a continuation of our culture and our heritage. If you guys have never been to a powwow, go to a powwow. There's one almost every weekend within a couple hour drive from here. There's one next weekend somewhere in Oakland. The best one I would say to go to is the Stanford Powwow on Mother's Day weekend. That's one of the biggest ones in Northern California, and it's amazing. But what it is, we get together and you'll have the drums and the dancers and all their traditional clothing will be dancing, and to me, it's the most beautiful thing. I love it. I enjoy it very much. And, the first time I lived on the reservation for a while when I was a real young kid, and then I went back when I was 18 because my grandpa was sick, and that was the first time I saw a powwow when I was 18 years old, and I was blown away. Here I am, this rough and tumble, streetwise 18-year-old kid with tears streaming down my face because I couldn't believe what I was looking at. And the funny thing was, I'm like, looking at the dancers, that didn't appeal to me, but I wanted to sing. The drumming and the singing, I was like, that's what I want to do. And so, I ended up, here I am now. I'm a drummer and singer, and I've been doing it for like 25 years, and to me it's been the most amazing thing. But definitely anybody should be able to go to any powwow. They're wonderful. Go see it. Eat an Indian taco. Eat fried bread. It's good stuff. If you've never had fried bread, your life will change when you eat it.
Well, I've been to some powwows too, and one of the beautiful things to me is that all these different tribes are coming together. I mean, that is essentially a key part of it, right? To bring each other together. Yeah,
the thing, after World War II, the United States government implemented a policy called relocation, and it backfired on them. It was awesome. What relocation was is they were taking native families from the reservation, giving them money and setting them up in urban environments so that they could assimilate us into white society. Well, they screwed up because they put us all in the same areas. The Bay Area has one of the highest native populations in the entire country. There's an incredibly vibrant and thriving native community in the Bay Area, and it stretches from San Jose all the way up to Santa Rosa and even beyond that. And there's a place in Oakland that's kind of like the epicenter for the East Bay called Intertribal Friendship House, where every Thursday night they have drumming and dancing and singing lessons there. And that's, I've been involved with those guys for years. And so their whole thing about relocation has turned against them. And, we jokingly call Oakland the urban res. Like, you'll see people at powwows that wear T-shirts that say urban res on it, and that's what we consider Oakland is the urban reservation. So, the powwow and that whole thing, it pulls us all together as a community, and it's very important to us to keep our culture alive.
You mentioned earlier that you were angry when you were a young man. And I imagine that might have been a little bit of anger at the white man?
Yeah, misdirected. Yeah. Absolutely.
So how did you, it was a forgiveness process, or what did you do to move through that?
Well, there was two things. One, I realized that nobody alive, my anger was just vapid. There was nowhere for it to go. It was a misplaced anger because there was nobody to be angry at. And two, by holding on to that anger, I was basically making myself a victim. and I'm not a victim, and nobody alive today had anything to do with what happened all those years ago. So I got to the point in maturity where it was just pointless and useless to hang on to. There was no reason to hang on to it.
Beautiful. Well, that is, I love how you simplify teachings that we spend, days on. And he brings it right to the essence, right? Well, I know also one of the great aspects of Native heritage is storytelling. I wonder if you'd be willing to share with us a story.
Yeah, actually, you guys get a bonus story. I told one story in the morning for the morning service. You guys get a different story. So the Menominee people were from the Great Lakes in Wisconsin. Our reservation is about 45 minutes just northwest of Green Bay. It's absolutely beautiful. There's a pristine river that runs through it called the Wolf River, and it's just gorgeous. It's one of my favorite places on the planet. And on our reservation, there's a rock called Spirit Rock, and I'm going to tell you the legend of Spirit Rock. A long time ago, there was a hero god named Manabush, and Manabush made himself be known to this one young man. He said, grab 20 of your strongest warriors and come find me at my house, and my house is here, and it's going to be a very dangerous trip for you. So they go, he gets the 20 bravest people from the tribe, and they go to where Manabush said to go, and the first thing they come to is the river, and there's no way to cross the river. And one of them heard a vision in his head saying, you have to trust yourself and jump across the river. Well, the river's massive. But the young man that heard that just started running, and he jumped and he went across the river. So everybody went and jumped across the river except for one guy. He didn't make it and got carried away down the river, and I was never told what happened to him. And so they keep going, and they finally get to Manabush's hut, Manabush's house, and Manabush says, all of you have come, you're brave warriors, and I can see that all of you care about your people. So I'm going to grant each one of you a wish. So one guy says, I want to be the greatest leather worker in the tribe. And one guy's like, I want to be the best hunter. And one guy's like, I want to be the best warrior. I want to be the best fisherman. I want to make the best canoes, because we used a lot of canoes. In fact, they call us Menominee. The word for ourselves is Anishinaabe. Menominee means people of the rice, and that's because when the French people came, the first time they saw us, we were in our canoes getting rice out of the rivers. So they said, you're the rice people. We're like, what? So one guy's like, I want to make the best canoes, and it went down the line, and everybody wanted to be something useful. And he came back to the first warrior, and the first warrior goes, you know what? I want to live forever so I can watch over the people. And Manabush became enraged because he thought that was a very arrogant and a very selfish want to not be able to die. So he goes, okay, you'll live as long as the Menominee people live. And he put his hand on top of his head, and he pushed him down and turned him into a rock and said, so long as you're still a rock, there will be Menominee people. Now, Spirit Rock's on our reservation. I've been to it, and the thing about Spirit Rock that's a little bit scary is there's chips of rock laying around it, and the legend is each time a Menominee dies, a piece of the rock falls off. So,
story. Wow. Interesting that we have a Spirit Rock nearby of a different flavor, the Buddhist Spirit Rock Center up here.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's, a different story, but that's one that comes specifically from my people.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your whole,
Thank you.
Your music, your singing, your drumming, and your stories. Really appreciate it.
And just one last thing. I'm sure none of you know this, but this is Native American Heritage Month, so go try to learn about a Native American person. There's millions to choose from. Well, not millions, but there's quite a few. I would suggest Chief Joseph or Chief Seattle. Chief Seattle especially because he had a lot of sayings that go along with a lot of what Unity believes. And Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce people is the one that was famously said, "I will fight no more forever." Learn about him, read about him, read about somebody who's Native, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. That was a great sharing. And I was up in Seattle, and I walked on this Chief Seattle Trail. It's a walking trail right in the middle of the city. So that's who I'm going to read about. Our prayer chaplains are available after this service to provide personal prayer support. If you're a prayer chaplain serving with us today, please stand. Our prayer chaplains, as you can see, are wearing their beautiful lavender stoles, so you can identify them. Whether you have a joy or a concern in your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a powerful opportunity to have your intentions raised up in consciousness. We know in truth there is no lack or limitation. Abundance is our true nature. For your convenience, there are a variety of ways to financially give to this community. For credit card donations, use PushPay on your smartphone or take an envelope from the clipboard on the back of the chair in front of you. Those of you at home can also use PushPay or click the donate button on the Watch Live page. At this time, I invite you to take your tithe or your offering in your hand and repeat our affirmation with me. Together, divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful. Thank you.
Today go ta ya yo ta na do ga yo ta na do ki ya ba hey ya do ki ya ho de ga ho no ho de ga ho no hey ya de ho de ga ho me hey.
What a blessed Thanksgiving it has been. Oh, thank you to each of you for our lives, for our health, for our relationships, for our community, for love and joy and peace throughout our lands and our peoples. And let's bless these offerings together. We give thanks for the ever-increasing, unceasing flow of absolute good in our lives now. So it is. So I understand our children are really having a good time, whatever they're engaged in, and so they're not coming in. So I invite you to stand and to join hands, if you wish, with somebody nearby as we close out with our prayer of protection and our peace song. Yeah. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God ever present, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
You are the light and the love and the peace on earth right now. So let your light shine and have fun. Amen.